Hi, and welcome to Cooking with Maria. Today we're going to make paella. I'm going to go ahead and get some fresh thyme from the garden. See, just a few sprigs like that'll be great. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do for paella is cut up a chicken. You can have your butcher do it, or you can do it yourself. And then you're going to add some sweet paprika. I use organic. I love organic. The thyme that we just picked in the garden, just pick it apart and put it right in the bowl, just like that. I add my favorite hot sauce. Nothing beats Tabasco. And I add a little bit of salt. Just kind of makes the meat moisture go inside the chicken. And you're going to toss that. Pierce the meat. Everybody's heard this. This isn't an original idea here. Pierce the meat. Make sure you get all the seasonings right in there. If you have any cuts on your hand, they're going to hurt like hell. So just make sure you don't have any. All right, so you see that beautiful color? That's exactly what we want. We're going to marinate it just for an hour. Make no mistake, I added a lot more paprika. I'd say a whole nother tablespoon. Look at the color now. This is the color you want your chicken to be. Don't be afraid of the spice. You want the oil to get really, really hot. Remember our chicken? We're going to go ahead and sear that right in the oil. Listen to this. That's what you want to hear. So let's go ahead and brown all that beautiful chicken right in the oil. Look at that. Delicious. Spices. But we don't want to crowd it. Don't crowd the chicken or it won't brown. And browning's important. We talked about this when we made the sauce. We talked about that. Well, I didn't give you the sauce recipe because you're not family. But we talked about this when we made the brajol. You don't want to crowd your meat or you're never going to get what's called the sauce. Now, even though we're making paella and it's Spanish cooking, we still want to get that beautiful flavor that's deep in the pan. That's the difference between delicious, fabulous, and good. We don't want to be good. We want to be great. Let's go ahead and brown this chicken. Now, the first few minutes that you're browning, make sure you use some tongs and kind of move each chicken piece around. And this way, the skin, if you still have it attached, which I strongly suggest for flavor, is not going to adhere to the bottom of the pan. Instead, it's going to stay on the chicken. And you can peel it if you want for a lighter recipe at the end, but let it render its fat. You can't replicate these flavors. All right, so you see the pieces are getting nice and deliciously tender. Nice and brown. See that? Once they get brown, then you're going to remove them into the bowl. Remove the next pieces in. This is an entire chicken. See? And this piece you want to get a little more brown. And look at this color. See the color in the bottom of the pan? Let's zoom in on that. That's the color. Come on, get closer. Don't be afraid. That's the color that we want to get for the oil. It's delicious. It's gold. Spanish gold. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the sausage in. Now, you might say, hey, now she's putting in the chorizo. I'm not using chorizo, and the reason is, really, it's personal taste. My husband doesn't like chorizo. I love it. But we have to make everybody happy. We're cooking here for families. We're not cooking for the masses. So we're using hot Italian sausage that I got at the grocery store. It's absolutely delicious, flavorful. If you want to make your own sausage, we're going to do that later on in the series. But right now, we're going to go ahead and use store-bought because this is a very intricate dish. And we can use all the shortcuts we can get, especially when it doesn't cost on flavor. And this sausage is absolutely phenomenal. Now you can see that we've got the sausage browning. How many links did I use? I used all 5, baby, because we love the flavor. We got this chicken going. We're going to go ahead and remove it once it gets a nice crust. I like the crust we got going on here. Remember, we're not cooking the chicken. We're just browning it. See this beautiful color over here? Our little chicken pyramid. All right, we're going to go ahead and saute. Look, I got 2 utensils. This is fun. We got all the sausage in here. We're going to go ahead and saute it and render all the fat. And then we're throwing in the Holy Trinity. In the meantime, I want to tell you guys, look what this is. This is the back of the chicken. We didn't use that for the paella. But you know what I use it for? I use it for chicken stock. I saute this, little carrot, little onion, little celery, little garlic. And I put about 8 quarts of water. I simmer it down for about 4 hours. And guess what I get? Moving along this. This is my frozen chicken broth. We're going to put it in my paella, and bam! That's a ton of flavor. Any good paella has great fresh seafood. So we've got some delicious middle neck northeastern clams. I don't recommend any other ones. See one that's open? Push him, test him. Is he closed? Is he fresh? He's out. All right, so you only get the clams that are closed. See this? See everybody's closed? That's what you're looking for. Check them. Make sure they're fresh. Fresh seafood is #1. Clams should stay good in the fridge for about 2 to 3 days. So if your fish market closes on Sunday and Monday, like ours do, you can buy them on Saturday. They'll be all right. But be careful of this guy. He's out. He's in. See the difference? These are delicious Key West pinks. Smell them? They smell like nothing. That's exactly what they should smell like. All right, this is the seafood that we're going to add. We got fresh shrimp. We got clams. Let's get back to the sausage. You can see the sausage is browning up nice, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a nice brown crust on the sausage, and we're ready for the Holy Trinity. What's the Holy Trinity? Easy. Garlic, onion, and celery. Let's throw it in. Boom. You want to saute that up. Make sure you get every little bit of it because it all counts. The Holy Trinity can be every of your 3 favorite vegetables, but these are my 3 favorite because they have the best flavor. So let's go ahead and stir it up and saute it and all that delicious juice. Look at the color. Absolutely fabulous. What I like to do is I like to throw the clams in. People say, what? What is she doing? The reason is I like the clams to render their stock. The stock goes right into my paella. It flavors the paella, and you'll see what a difference it makes in the flavor. So go ahead and add all the clams and wait for them to open before you move on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cover when we got the clams going because that's going to help the clams steam. I say give it about 3 minutes. Check the aluminum foil, pop it up, and I guarantee you're going to have a clam open. Let's take a little peek. A little peek, you see that they've opened up. Great. Keep the foil on. Don't forget to give it a stir, though. You don't want anything to stick to the bottom. Okay, so let's take a peek. Ooh, somebody's already opened up. So this is what you do. Use your spoon, take the clam out, because we don't really want to cook shells in there. Take all the liquor out, and one by one, go around the clubs, or the clubs. Go around to the clubs. Go around to the clams that have opened. Take the clam out, the liqueur, and put the shell in a bowl. We're going to go ahead and use the clams to decorate at the end. And don't worry if everybody doesn't open at the same time. The thing about clams, they open when they feel like it. Just like the clubs. All right, so you see the liquid in here? Let's get a close-up. Remember, we only used olive oil. We browned the sausage. This is delicious clam broth. You can't replicate that. We took all the clams out of their shell, and now we're going to go ahead and add the shrimp. Add the shrimp. We rinsed it in a little water, then the shrimp soaked in the water. It's all good, people. It's all good. It's all about flavor. We're going to go ahead and add the shrimp with the tails on, because it almost makes like a little shrimp stock, which I absolutely love. Then we're going to go ahead and pour or put the chicken on that we have just sitting over here and tuck it right in there like so. Look at this. See this? Absolutely #1 flavor right there. I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken broth. Ideally, you want to make sure it's thawed, but this one is frozen. Here's what I do. I stick it right in a hot part in the center. Trust me, that thing will be thawed before you can say homemade chicken broth. We're not talking about ideal cooking. We're not talking about you having a chef kitchen. We're saying, hey, you froze your chicken broth. You're on a Monday night, Tuesday night. You want a great dinner. Maybe you have unexpected guests. Maybe your wife's boss or your husband's boss is coming over for dinner. Maybe your friends are coming over for dinner or family. Whoever it is, and you want to make something special. Maybe nobody's coming over. Maybe it's just for you guys. But don't be afraid. You got a frozen chicken broth block? Stick it in the middle. It's going to defrost. Trust me. Take about 10 minutes, but that's all right. It's gonna be fine. All right, you wanna make sure that the ice breaks up. Once it's in there for about a couple minutes, go ahead and hammer down a knife with your chicken pounder. And look, you get nice little pieces of broth and like little ice cubes. Now you can move them around the pot and distribute the broth evenly. See? I told you I was going to make it easy. It's about this time that we're going to add the saffron. If you've ever made paella, that's the #1 ingredient. Everybody raves about it. To me, I think it's an ingredient. I think it's important, but I definitely don't think it's #1. However, I absolutely use it because without it, you can't really make paella. All right, we added the chicken to kind of get all the flavor from it. I'm going to take it out one more time so I can bring it to a boil and add the rice. And then we're going to put the chicken right back. You might say, why put it in and put it out if it's going to be in there? The flavor is going to get out anyway. I don't know. I find this way gives me a better flavor. See all that? All that liquid? We need that for the rice. Now we're ready to add the rice. Let's go ahead and add about 2 cups of rice. See, about 2 cups into the broth. See how that works? Just kind of fold it all in there. It's easier to do without the chicken inside because the chicken is so much larger than the rest of the ingredients. So go ahead and add that in. And let's go ahead and put our chicken back on the top, releasing all the flavor. We're going to cover it after that, and we're going to simmer it for about 25 minutes. I always put the chicken skin side down in the pot. I think it adds the most flavor. See that? And don't forget, always add the juice. Go ahead and give it a cover. And we said about 25 minutes, and I'll check back with you. One more thing, you want to go ahead and maybe add a few more sprigs of thyme. I really feel like thyme adds so much to this dish. So go ahead and add that before the simmer. All right, so the heat we're going to use is about medium-low, depending on the oven you have. If you have a really hot oven, you want to go on low, like I do. If your oven works normal, like mine doesn't, you want to use about a medium-low. This is the kind of boil you want. A nice simmer. Not too low, not too high, just perfect. Okay, we checked it at the 25-minute mark, and we added about, I'd say, a cup of water to give it a little more liquid, and the chicken wasn't quite cooked through, so we're going to go ahead and keep it on low and give it another 15 minutes. And we're going to add 2 more ingredients. Some fresh chopped parsley, and some delicious scallions. And that's my favorite movie in the background. It's Complicated with Meryl Streep. God, I love her. All right, boom. 15 minutes and I'll see you. Oh, here's a little trick. If you want to just shake the sides, it's kind of easier than stirring it. I mean, working with a paella pan is not exactly something I do every day. So sometimes I shake the sides with both hands and it works, and better than a spoon. All right, so what do you think?
I think it's great. I think the chicken's great. The sausage is a lot of excellent flavor. I'm going to have 5 bowls.
What do you think?
It's really good, and he works really hard, and it's really delicious.
What do you think?
I like the cooked chicken and the rice. It has good flavors.
Oh, thank you, baby.